What's up guys, in this video I wanted to share with you my perspective on filming real estate with the RED Komodo. Let's get started. Thank you so much for tuning in guys, my name is Guillaume and I run a film production business here on the Gold Coast in Australia. Quite recently, my friend Mark reached out to me as he needed a video of a property he recently finished renovating. For real estate shoots, I usually use my Sony a7S III paired with the G Master 12-24 as I believe it's a great lightweight setup. I've made a video about this combo and how I make real estate video with it. I put the link up in the right corner. For this property, I really wanted to take the cinematography to the next level and make a very high-end video. Therefore, I decided to use my RED Komodo with the Tokina 11-20 2.8. In terms of rigging, I used the Condor Blue cage, a small HD Cine 7 for the monitor, and used the Pro Base Camp matte box paired with the 225 and the mist filter, and I'll get back onto that filter later. For this shoot, I decided not to use my Ronin S2, but to go with the Syrup Magic Carpet slider and only one tripod. I actually regretted that decision a bit later because the weight of the camera and the slider on only one tripod causes the whole system to sometimes bend a little bit on the sides. After that shoot, I went directly on Amazon and purchased a pair of side supports that hopefully will solve the issue in the future. And I'm shooting in 6K at 17:9. I'm going to deliver the project in 4K 16:9, so that 6K gives me a bit of room to eventually crop after in post, and the 17:9 gives me a wider aspect ratio, same to crop and eventually reframe manually the shots if they are not perfect. And I overexpose the indoor shots a little bit because I believe real estate looks a lot better when the indoor is very bright. Regarding the lens, I stopped down between f5 and f11 depending on the light condition in each room to have a sharp image. Manual focus obviously, and that's where the large Cine 7 monitor comes really handy as I could check the focus peaking directly. The reason I went with this setup is because of the insane dynamic range of the Komodo. Indeed, it helps me expose to the indoor of each room while not blowing out too much the outside in most situations. You could say 6K resolution didn't really matter because the client was asking for a 4K export. However, I believe it helps a lot reframing in post and allowing quite aggressive zoom ins. When it comes to real estate, there are a few rules and I've covered all of this in a dedicated video if you want to check it out. I've done a video with the Sony a7S III but also with the RED Gemini. But in short, simple move, simple shot, slow and smooth, covering the most attractive angles with as much light as possible and using the shapes and symmetry to compose the shots. And we're using for the first time a Pro Mist. This is the Pro Mist 225 and I think that's a 1/8 strength, and that should give us those very creamy, very nice shots and make up for the digital look that the Komodo can have on those shots. For this shoot, we also used the DJI Air 2S for the aerial shots, and to try to match the look as much as possible, I used the Freewell variable mist filters. I'm pretty happy with them and the look they give. They fit the drone perfectly like they should, the build is high quality, and you can adjust your ND strength by spinning the front element. Therefore, instead of having 4 to 6 ND filters to carry in your bag, I only need 2 to cover most uses. And to be honest with you, I only actually use the 225 so far. To my knowledge, I don't know many brands that are doing mist filters, and so far I've been pretty happy with them. The only thing I don't like about it is the heavy vignetting color shift on the blue sky, typical of variable NDs when pushed usually to either end of their spectrum. For this shoot, for example, maybe I should have used the 6 to 9 stop variable ND filter instead of the 225, and maybe this would have solved the issue of the vignetting or color shift. Now let's conclude. Is filming real estate with the RED Komodo really worth it? In my opinion, and if you have been following my channel for a while, you probably already have an idea of my answer. I've been using the Sony a7S III paired with the G Master 12-24 for all my, I quote, lower end jobs. It's a great versatile kit offering a really good image quality. The 10-bit S-Log 3 handles the highlight like a charm while being the best mirrorless out there in low light. Bold but true statement. However, I do see the value of using the RED Komodo on higher hand jobs. I would need to put both cameras next to each other to show you, I guess, but the 16-bit of the R3D really gives an edge to this system. Most of the times, and if properly set while filming, the image comes out perfect and requires little to no adjustments in post. This means I'm saving an incredible amount of time editing the project. And I forgot to mention that on my high-spec 2019 MacBook Pro, the R3D files cut like butter, even in 6K, while I have to create proxies for the S7S3 files, saving me even more time. For this shoot, I ended up with 250 GB of footage. This is a lot, I know, but fine with me as I will likely not keep the footage after delivering the video. If I shot this with the Sony, for example, I believe I would have ended up with around 50 GB in comparison. In the end, both the RED or mirrorless routes are great options in my opinion. If I may say, I see this as like comparing flying first class and flying economy. Both options take you from A to B, but one will be a lot more comfortable, though expensive, while the second option will be cheaper while not offering the same luxurious service. I also mentioned in the video that it was the first time I was using a mist filter for real estate. I've been using the 1/4 225 VND from Polar Pro and I'm very happy with the result. They do have stronger mists, but I believe 1/4 is just the right amount, subtle enough to soften those highlights while not looking too dreamy or coming out of a fairy tale. Whether I used the mist on the Komodo or the drone, the results is more pleasing to the eyes and less digital. Finally, some people ask me whether they should use a slider or gimbal for real estate. I would say to use a gimbal on lower budget projects as it will save you a lot of time and still look good enough. I would use both a slider and a gimbal for some more technical shots on higher end, higher budget projects. Using a slider definitely takes a lot longer but allows for perfect shots, removing entirely that up and down floating movement. Another option would be to use a gimbal and a one wheel, and this is something I would like to try. One wheel, please sponsor me. And that's it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments if you would consider using the RED Komodo for filming real estate, or if you think there is a better camera, a better system, better accessories out there that would give a better result. Consider subscribing, hitting that bell notification to receive an email every time I post a new video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!